Um, we have a we have a fr- we have a shit. We have a family member of mine. Does that make sense? Like this is I remember being I was 23 and at the time I think he was 7. All right. And Savannah was 9. Or was it 7 and 9 or 9 and 11? 14 years. 9 and 11. 9 and 11. Yeah. Because 14 years is
Hmm.
yeah, that makes sense. All right. So 9 years old. And a big reason of, the reason that I casted and created a vision was a lot to do with how I saw the people around me raise their families, but more specific is the relationship I saw between Sean and Trevor. When I saw that, I was like, dude, I want something like that. Like, I want that. Like, I wanted something like Sean and Trevor before I wanted to be married. Make sense? Like I was like, that looks cool going to the All-Star game every year. That looks cool going to the home run derby. Like, oh my God, because when I grew up, you guys, I didn't have that at all. Like I was raised by my mom, she went to work, and then whoever like was a dad of mine was like my coach that season. And then once baseball was over, I had a different kind of person. You know what I mean? So when I met Sean, I was like, dude, I got a coach for life. Not a life coach, but a coach for life. Make sense? And when I saw that, I was like, dude, this is great. And then through that, do you know what I mean? I started to see the changes, all right, in relationships as it pertains to growth. I saw the way as he was, dude, I was more interested in when you were a teenager, bro, of like, yo, what's that like? Like, what's it going on? Like, and things like that, because I was so interested to know, like, what changes, what develops are happening. How are you changing as a parent? How is he changing as your son? Make sense? Like I was interested in those types of things because at the end of the day, if we're not growing as men or women, we're dying. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not getting better at the things that truly matter, who gives a damn? So I paid attention to a lot of those things. And over the years, man, like we've built a really good bond, good business relationship. I'm talking about Sean and myself. And then T, I was always just like big bro. Makes sense? Like, whatever. He's going through baseball stuff, whatever. Dude, we'll talk about anything over the years. But last year, he decided that, dude, I want to get an insurance license. And I never heard him talk about getting into insurance or nothing like that. It was always, dude, I'm playing baseball, right? And like that's all I knew. I never talked about doing nothing else. Makes sense. It was like baseball wasn't over until it was actually over, by the way. Makes sense. Like I don't know. Like if you've never been an athlete, you don't really understand what that's like. People on the outside may say stuff or like, man, what you like once you're in it, you're in it. But once it's over, it's real humbling. And I remember last October we talked and you were like, man, I don't, you know what I mean? I'm kind of in between. You didn't stop playing baseball yet, but you saw the writing on the wall. Okay. And he said, I need to be ahead of it. I need to figure something out. And to say wasn't easy would be an understatement. You know what I mean? And you would think that, hey, somebody coming from that background, like T saw his dude, his dad drove a Honda Accord and he hit a deer and that fool never got it fixed. And I was like, bro, like, why don't you get the damn car fixed? He goes, somebody got to sell the insurance. I'll never forget that, dude. And I was like, what the hell? And I remember one time I did something and he was like, dude, if you ever do something like that again, you mess with Trevor and Savannah's future, I'll kill you. And I said, touche, I won't do that again. And what I really started to realize was that what we're doing is way bigger than just like when I'm working with Lacey, I'm not just working with Lacey, I'm working with Lacey and her 4 kids. Make sense? At a young age, I had to realize that I'm affecting way more than just one person. These people have people they care about. So I can't be selfish with the actions that I make or are made. All right. But you would think growing up and seeing from Honda Accord to where the family is now, where Sean is now, that you'd be like, dude. you probably came into this thing fucking smoking it. Like, I'm sure you got like all the free leads. I'm sure you freaking got everything. Boy, when I tell you this guy was a train wreck when he started, okay? Like the complete opposite of what you think growing up. Like you think if you grow up in King Griffey Jr.'s house, you're gonna have a good swing, right? You're like, okay, you got to swing. You may not be King Griffey, but you got to swing. Dude, this motherfather, when he started, I was like, bro, where did you grow up? Like, what, like, were you not paying attention to what the fuck was going around you? And it's not that he wasn't, but I want him to articulate why that was and why it was foggy at the beginning. Because I asked him, I said, hey, dude, how much money you got in your bank account? Let me, how much you got in your bank account just now? I know plus or minus, but give us a round number.
Right now, around 40.
About 40 grand.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay. 9 months ago, or last October, what did that look?
400.
$400. And when he called me in October, he said, hey, I want to get going in this business. I don't want nothing. I love my dad, but I don't want nothing from him. Nothing. Because he asked me, he goes, where do I buy leads? I go, bro, why are you asking me where to buy leads? Your dad owns the company. He goes, I don't talk to him about that. I go, all right, I see what you're doing. I see, okay. All right, because my expectations were probably what all of you are thinking as well. But my man came in, spent his own money, and went backwards, right? To say you made money the first 3, 4 months would be crazy, but I want you to go back, talk to us about, man, how you
Mhm.
got started, why you got started,
Mhm.
and I say this very loosely, but why you believe everybody can do this.
Mhm.
Do you know what I
For
mean?
sure.
But what were the things that were getting in the way, Trevor? You know what
For
I'm saying?
sure.
And by the way, Trevor Meaike, all right? Trevor Meaike, my dude. We were in Cayman Islands and we were
Hmm.
on what's that thing to where you're on the back of a boat
The
and then there's a
fucking
parachute.
what's it called? The tube or the thing they're pulling on you in the water?
They pull you and you're on a parachute
Mhm.
in the air
Mhm.
behind a boat, whatever.
Parasail.
All right. We're up there, just me and him. And this fool goes, he's 9. He goes, yo, you think anybody's ever farted from up here? I go, I don't know. He goes, well, they just did. And I go, fool, we're strapped in together. You just farted on me, bro. Like literally just farted on me. So just to let y'all know, like this is bigger than insurance. All right. But the insurance is how we're going to take care of our families. The insurance was the reason why that fool was able to fart on my ass 14 years ago. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's all yours, bro. I appreciate you hopping on. I respect the hell out of your time. Let's
Yeah,
rock.
no doubt. First off, love you, bro. Appreciate you having me on.
No doubt.
And also, Trainwreck is putting it really nicely. I obviously would assume, like I said, my pops runs the company as much as I can fucking try to hide and act like that's not true. It is. So, pops runs the company. Came into it, fucking sucked. Hopped on the same dials room that Dom had, got my license, and to kind of go back a little bit before that, like I said, baseball had ended. I mean, it hadn't officially ended, but you fucking know once you know. You can try to fight it for a couple of months but you know, couldn't get my arm to not break. I knew baseball was over, so I knew I needed to take the next step. Hit up Dom, told him I needed to get my insurance license, got into it, hopped into live dials. I was atrocious. I'll spend my own money on ILC leads. I was buying 20 leads at a time that were $5 because I didn't have any other money to do it. And I was a train wreck. And you would think that my pops run the company, that it would make sense and whatnot. I'd stick it through. And Dom didn't mention this part. I quit. I fucking quit fucking 3 weeks in. I wouldn't unmute on Zoom. I wouldn't fucking do anything Don was telling me. I actually did the opposite. Not because I didn't believe in him, just because I was in my own way. I wasn't coachable at all. I just did the opposite of what Dom did, and for some reason it fucking worked out like that. What a surprise! So I quit. So I understand what it's like to in the first days, weeks, months. I mean, I'm the last fucking person who should have quit watching it go from here all the way up to here from my father and whatnot. I should have been the last motherfucker to quit, still quit. So fast forward about 3 months after that, 4 months, around early February, I went to convention, or so late February, right after convention. I seen Dom. I talked to you for a little bit. You're like, dude, are you gonna get back into this? Whatever. I'm like, dude, I need to. Those were 4 months of me just being broke. I was looking at Chipotle jobs, Fresh Kitchen, all this stuff down here. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? So I got back into it, told myself I'd give it a real shot, and got back into it and just complete 360. I was coachable because I knew I had no fucking choice. And those first couple months were the hardest, man. It's fucking, you're spending money on leads, but you're getting paid 2 weeks later. And you're supposed to keep spending money on leads and whatnot. But where it really turned for me was when I stopped looking at about how many fucking sales could I get the first couple of weeks. It was how do I get this process down? How do I memorize a script? How do I get my process so solidified that in a couple months I'm good? Because I don't want to just kind of walk through it, whatnot, and maybe figure it out, say what's comfortable versus what I should be saying. Why don't I take these first couple of weeks, put the sales out the side, and just fucking try to get good at this thing? Because clearly in the fall, as Dom knows, it did not fucking work. So, and that's what I did, dude. I invested in my time of trying to get good at the script. And I took a lot of time into it. I was calling 600 people a day just because I was like, okay, cool, more opportunity to talk to people. I didn't even care about sales. I was so far from sales at that point, it didn't even matter. I was like, how do I get this script down? Because without the script, I'm not going to get a sale. And I figured 500 calls a day, maybe 50 people will answer on a good day, maybe 40, 30. Maybe I get through 5, 7 decent conversations. That's a lot more than calling 100 people and only talking to five and then maybe one decent conversation. So I just looked at it like that. I chugged along with it, and then eventually it just clicked. It's the same thing that everyone says, and I'm the one person who quit and probably shouldn't have. So, like I said, Dom saw from the beginning, dude. I was fucking awful. And I just stuck with it, man. And that's really all it is. No one in this business fails if they just stick with it. Some people just quit before they hit their point. And my office down here, there's a guy who does 50, it's like averages 50, 60K a month. Like legit, not just saying that to fucking get people's attention. And it took him 9 weeks to get his first sale. You think fucking 9 weeks, why the fucker not quit? Just like the same thing I did in October. But he saw the vision, he saw people doing it, he saw his friends doing it. And now he's a 50K plus guy a month just because he stuck with it. So it doesn't really matter how long it takes you, but those first couple of weeks, man, just really just try to get the script down, just invest in your process, try to get good at the skill, and then you have the skill for life. And that was the one thing I was missing. I wasn't coachable at all in the beginning. Um, Don would tell me to unmute. They would answer the phone call. I'd mute it. Don would be screaming at me, unmute the whole time I'm on the call. I pretend like I didn't hear him. I mean, I was about as uncoachable as it gets. So that's the shit you got to do, man. It's not a hard process, obviously. I mean, life insurance isn't. We're not trying to convince people to buy something they don't need. Every single person filled it out because they need it. If you can get back to the why from when they were filling out, whether it was a year ago, 6 months ago, or yesterday, if you can remind them of that why, then they're yours. That's really all it is. The pushy salesmen just don't last. They eventually just get weeded out with chargebacks and complaints and all that bullshit. For the people who actually care, if you can get back to their why before they can hang up on you, they're all yours. And that's really the key. And I think in the beginning too, I was just trying to get sales in that fall. I was trying to get sales, getting mad, taking 3 hour breaks, getting pissed. I mean, it wasn't coachable. I can say that 1,000 times and it still wouldn't reiterate how uncoachable I was. Um, that's really all it is, man. And it's about believing in yourself too. I mean, you see the people around you doing well, just copy them. It's really not that complicated. Just fucking copy them. Do the opposite of what
All
I did
right.
when I first got in.
So let's talk about that part, right? Or just
Mhm.
two parts. Belief. All right, belief. Where was the lack of belief at for you as it pertains to you selling?
I just didn't believe in myself. I wasn't confident, which I don't really know why. At the time, I wasn't. I saw everyone selling. I knew the process, and I still wasn't confident. So honestly, I don't know. And I kind of had to gain that and build it and get comfortable. So that's the thing because I didn't come from sales and shit. I
Did
played
you
big.
believe in the leads?
Yeah, at times it was hit or
Okay.
miss. And
At
then I
times.
realized, go ahead.
You said at times. Okay.
Mhm.
What are those? What were the times to where you didn't? Um, what were those thoughts? What thoughts were coming in?
Well, I would say that how I looked at the leads early on, I was nervous because I was spending all my money on 20 leads, so I knew it was make or break. And I knew they were also older leads. So I'm like, shit, fucking, I know I was pressuring them, whatnot. And I stopped believing it until I realized it doesn't matter how long ago they filled it out, whether it was
Mhm.
yesterday or a couple months ago, they want it at some point. The only difference is how do I get them back to when they needed it, what they wanted, whatnot. If they didn't take care of it, and fuck, even if they did take care of it, I'm probably gonna get them something cheaper, but I think I was so caught up in the money crunch and the fact that I was like, okay, like I don't know, they filled it out a long time ago. They probably don't even care. So I was on the phone, like, all right, this dude's gonna hang up on me. I'm fucking letting it ring. I already know the sale's over before they even said a single goddamn word. So it's like and then the difference is then I started back up in January. I was calling older leads again, still didn't have that much money. And the difference was I was like, as soon as they answer me, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this. Just a change of mindset. That's all it is. Maybe it was desperation, but it worked.
That's it. Now, what was your first 20K month? You said you started back in January or
Yeah.
February. What did that look like? What did you do in February, March? What did that track look like up to 20 plus thousand a month?
February, late February was like the last couple of days of February. I was selling those first 2 weeks. I didn't sell a lick of anything. Actually, my first one after 2 weeks was my grandma's friend, so I wouldn't count it. It was not a sale, right? So those first 2 weeks, but I told myself I was in the office down here in Boca, and I was talking to them, and they're like, "Dude, just get the process down for the first couple of weeks." And I was still a little bit jumpy. They're like, "Dude, forget the sale even exists. Just get good at dialing, get good on the phone, get good at the process. You get into an application, that's a win for the day." So it took me a little bit. I think March I did 15 submitted, so however much IP, maybe half of that. And my first big month it happened pretty quick after that. It was April. I believe I did 25, I believe, submitted. Again, not sure what the IP is on that, but I submitted 25. And then after that was 37. And then from there, it's always been 25 to 30 cents. I had one that was 40, so it's kind of been in that ballpark.
Okay.
Once you get rolling, you get comfortable, and it feels like you just have all the momentum in the world. Anyone picks up the phone, you're like, perfect, write it down as a sale. I'm not even fucking done saying my name yet. You know what I mean?
Right. What's the what's your schedule?
It was different when I first started because I was still flirting with baseball and whatnot. Now it's 8 to 8. Obviously, I'm not dialing from 8 to 8 every day because I'm helping train and whatnot, but I'm on my computer working from 8 to 8. I love the evening, especially on the West Coast. Y'all have an advantage because you guys can call at 5 p or at 3 p.m. your time. They're after work here. You can take advantage of it instead of it being 10 p.m. my time and I got to call back to you guys. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like those 5 to 8 p.m., dude, that's where maybe 75% of my sales are. They're home from work, they calm down, they're chilling, TV, whatever it is. So I try to take advantage of both those. I like to look at it as the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. range. And the 5 to 8, those are the two best times to dial in the day. Obviously, you can sell a policy anytime during the day, but I don't let myself miss those two windows because they're the two best windows to dial for sure.
Huge. Huge.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you miss one of them, you gotta make sure you get the other one. You miss the morning, you gotta get the night. You miss the night, you gotta get the morning. If you're missing both of those, then you might as well not even dial. Like I said, you can get some sales at noon, 1 p.m., but even fucking retired people can fucking be out during the day at 1, 2 p.m. But ain't nobody out there doing anything at 6:30 p.m. when they're 72 years old. So I
Right.
will not let myself miss those two windows. And at the minimum, I'm getting one of them.
I remember how did your view of the clients change from when you started?
I put them on a pedestal. That's just the easy one that comes to the top of my head. I acted like they knew more than I did, even though I had the insurance license. So I wasn't having like a conversation like me and you are having right now. It was like a pitch, and I was scared. I thought they were just gonna shut me down, and then phone calls over. And it turned when I just started talking to them like I was talking to my grandpa or my grandma or anything like that, where I was just trying to help them, not sell them, provide them the information, especially with veterans. Here's what the VA has to offer. Here's what the private sector has to offer. It turned to a conversation, and that was the difference. I stopped putting them up here. Even on my first day, I was putting people up here, but you realize if you know what term and whole life is, you know more than 95% of people do out there on the earth. So remembering that these guys are just people, they probably don't know much about insurance, if any, and stop putting clients or yeah on a pedestal. That's kind of what my biggest issue was, and just make it a conversation.
It's huge. What's your lead spend per
I
week?
spend $200 a day. Right now, I was at 300. I kind of depends on how the lead flow is going, whatnot. But at the very minimum, I'm spending 1,400 a week at the like bare minimum.
Minimum. If
Mhm.
anybody is wanting to hit 20 plus thousand dollars a month, could you see yourself doing it with less?
Be tough. It would, I mean, you gotta have some luck. One lead's gotta turn to three, maybe get a husband, wife, and cousin or something, but you gotta spend the money to make money. You gotta think about that extra 1,000 a month or 1,500 could be the difference of 7, 10K. So if you start looking at it as an investment and not an expense, then you don't care how much to spend.
When,
That's
where, when did you get there? Like, when did you start to, have you always been that, like with leads, like, hey, I'm willing to buy them? if I have the money, or was there ever a time where you had the money and you were hedging your bets on
Mhm.
buying the lead? So
I
did you
was
do that, or was it a immediate? I'm just all in.
No, I wouldn't say it was immediate. I knew the one thing I did know going into this business was you can't make money without leads, and not just leads that were 3 years old that are falling on your lap. I'm talking about real leads that people are actually not dead from 5 years ago. Um, so I was scared to spend money on leads a little bit, but once I saw what it could do, then I was kind of hooked from there. Obviously, it's easier once money's rolling in, whatnot. You get hit with a couple big chargebacks. You're 2K in debt with America, and you're like, wait, shit, I gotta spend another 1,500 now too. So like those are times where early on, not anymore now, but when you're like, you kind of pause for a second, you got to realize you got to feed your business in this, or you're just gonna collapse. I mean, obviously early on you want to use older leads. I don't know what y'all do for newer agents and whatnot, but
Right.
I mean, those leads are going to keep you in the business, the fresh leads and the spending money and investing in yourself. If you just try to rely on older leads and maybe take a couple weeks off spending leads, you might as well just get out because policies can charge back. And you're just going to kind of put yourself dead in the water from there. You got to keep feeding your business.
Hmm. Gotcha. We work a lot of vet leads, T.
Hmm.
All right. A lot of vet leads, instant with beneficiaries. Um, what else? FEX leads. All right.
Hmm.
What are some what are the similarities between all of those? Sometimes folks start with an age internet lead and then they get a vet lead and then they're like, oh shoot, it's something different. Like, what do I do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did
Yeah.
you deal with that with different lead types and things? Or how can you
Yeah.
best help people or help us not separate the leads like that? Like, yo, they're
Mhm.
all the same. It's just a matter of the point of contact. So,
Literally no difference at all. I mean, zero. The only difference is this is Trevor Mike here with the Veterans Life programs, whatever you want to call it, versus this is Trevor Mike here with the life insurance programs. From there is the exact same process. I'm going through, obviously, I'm confirming date of birth so they know I'm not just pulling their name off of some random sheet and I'm obviously getting to their why right away. No why, no buy, and then the call is the same from there. I don't see any difference at all. Obviously, with veterans, you'll deal with guys who are on disability, and you can use that kind of to your advantage with what kind of money's coming in. And they might have policies like VA Life and VGOI, and you can obviously replace those depending on the situation. So there's little differences with that, but your process doesn't change at all. At least mine doesn't. I also, I'm not big into, obviously, the script's great, but when you get too reliant on veterans, life insurance, whatever it is, and then you go over to this, like, dude, all it is a change of the words you're saying when you start the phone call. Like, there's no difference at all when you're going through your process because the process should be get the why, figure out what they can afford, figure out where they're at health wise. Let's just get you qualified. I mean, my process doesn't change. Obviously, if they're a 32-year-old and they're looking for $1 million in coverage and it's IUL and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to take an IUL turn, but I still have to go through the why, what they can afford, their health, and see if it's possible. So you're still going through the same steps. So for me, if you're going, or for you guys, if you're going through vets, final expense, if you have a mixture of both and whatnot, don't look at it as, oh shit, now I got a veteran lead to call. I got to fucking scramble, figure out my leads or figure out the script or whatnot. It's the exact same. So literally, to me at least, I'll throw in things for veterans and whatnot, like if they have VA Life, VGOI, or anything like that, and I can obviously use that to my advantage. But at the end of the day, a lead's a lead. They want it. There's just a difference in how they might get money coming in. With vets, I like them as well. Just tonality, a lot of religion talk with them and stuff. It's just little things like that. But as far as the process, doesn't change at all.
all right. So I got a lot of well, when I started selling virtual, I would get myself into these spots to where I would quote and then it would come back at something different. I'd have to pivot. Or maybe they just get declined. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was a headache. Do you know what I mean? Did you deal
Mhm.
with any of that? And if so, how did you change it?
Yeah, so I started doing the normal. You quote people before they go through the health, and I'm just assuming they can get this. And then say they get declined to Americo, I give them approved ethos counter offer here, they get declined there, and then I'm going to Corbridge and I'm giving this number. But they started at $100 for 20K, and now we're looking at $100 for 11K. So now they're pissed at me and they're hanging up the phone, right? And that's when I talked to you. I mean, we talked about it. I was like, Dom, like these guys are just fucking hanging up on me all the time with X, Y, and Z reasons. You're like, yeah, because you're quoting people. What do you know their health, you know the carrier's gonna accept them right away. Why are you quoting them? And I was like, I don't know what that means, but it kind of makes sense. And then we talked more about it, and you said stop quoting them, just get them approved. And I'm like, how do I get their social and shit without
That
fucking
was the piece, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
how do
I
I get
remember
their
your question was
social?
like, yo, how do I get their social and stuff
I'm
then
like,
with the
I
quote?
how do I
So
and
how
they
did you
want
change that
numbers.
thought process from you thought the quote was your
Hmm.
ticket to the close? How
Hmm.
how did you change that?
Well, it's not at all. And that's what I learned from you. The quote's not it at all. It's your process and you're telling them, and they appreciate when you kind of put your foot down and say, hey, John, this is how this process works. Oh, no, Trevor, I've been through it. Yeah, you've talked to 10 other agents and you haven't bought life insurance, clearly for one reason. So let me actually help show you how this process works because clearly you're not a life insurance agent and clearly you never bought insurance before. So clearly, respectfully, and I hate to say this, but I do cuss on the phone sometimes, you don't know what the fuck you're doing,
Yeah, me
right?
too.
Let me show you how this process works. You would hate for me to tell you $100 for $1 million in coverage. That's not realistic. I don't know what the carrier is going to accept you as. I have clients every day tell me they're healthy and they get declined for almost every carrier out there. Let me get you approved because that's all that matters first. We don't even know you can get approved yet. Let's get you approved first and then we discuss numbers. The only way to get that, and I bring up the social before I go through the whole thing, is through they have to run your MIB and through your social. That's how they get to confirm where you're at health wise. If any other agent gave you a number without doing that process, they were just trying to catch your attention. And from there, if I can get them to say, yes, okay, that makes sense, they're fucking mine. You know what I mean? Because now we're going through the process. I haven't given them numbers yet. I can build the why as I'm going through this process. So, I mean, they're giving me their social before they even get fucking a number. If I can get that from them, I mean, as long as it makes some fucking decent sense, like they're mine. And that's once I learned that and grasped that from you, dude, it was fucking over. Because when we talked about that in the next 3 days dialing, I probably had 50 people hang up on me when I said the social without quoting. I'm like, fucking Dom, dude. I remember this dude. I'm not making this shit up. I remember like Dom. I called Ethan McKinney, dude, asked him if you ever talked to him. I was like, I think Dom's out of his fucking mind. I said that word for word, dude. I would never bullshit you. Like he told me to stop quoting people. You know, I thought it was like the fucking craziest thing of all time. I realized I just had to change my process, and I was selling more than I had ever sold. You know what I mean? And it was been the exact same thing ever since. But people appreciate when you put your foot down a little bit because they don't want to be sold, but they do want to be helped. So you got to find that middle ground between you're leading them there without making them think you're leading them there. It's like a psychology game a little bit. They don't want to feel like they're getting belittled, but they do want to be helped. So once you kind of grasp that, dude, they're yours.
It's you just said something that I kind of didn't think of is like when you can build so much more value if they don't have a price lingering in their head the whole time you're trying to build the
Mhm.
value. Makes sense?
Dude, and they're
Like,
also
yeah,
tired. They're like, I just and they think you're shopping around for you, which we are. We got
yeah.
however many carriers we're shopping for. So that's also something too. They don't think they gotta go call anyone else after this and compare rates. I just shopped around for you, John, you're done. Like I just took care of this for you. But if you give you a quote right away, they're thinking, okay, thanks for your quote. Let me call the other 12 agents I'm not going to buy life insurance from either. Then I'm gonna call you back and the rate's gonna be different. Then you're gonna go through that whole list again and you're never gonna get insurance. Same process every other person does. But when you do it that way, they think that obviously that you're shopping around for it, which we are. I mean, they get approved in America. We know America is going to be the best thing they can get anywhere anyway, so it doesn't matter. So it's they think we're shopping around. That saves your persistency and all that because they don't think they got to cancel on some other agent. I mean, dude, my clients when they're done on the phone with me, they don't even pick up the phone for anybody else, and I've tested this multiple times, dude. I make them so scared to buy life insurance from anybody else after I tell them if anyone else calls you, they'd probably be lying on the application just to get you a better rate, wouldn't pay out to your family. We put you in the best possible spot. Do not fuck this up. I tell them that every single time close them. And I've done that. I've literally tested that. I've had other guys call them after, like, no, I'm all set. I got the best in the business. And that's not a me thing. Anyone can do it. Like, it's just a little simple shit like that that keeps your persistency and gets you a client for life. I mean, I got clients texting me once a week saying, hey, Trevor, thanks again, all this shit. I mean, and it's such a simple thing to do. It's the little things that go a long way. But again, that all is built from me kind of putting my foot down early, telling them how this process is going to work.
It's, I mean, a lot of this is just it's posture, positioning, and confidence. And
For
that comes
sure.
from a lot of repetition. I want to open it up, man. We're like 30 minutes after the hour rocking. Anybody got any questions for Trevor? You can put them in the chat or unmute yourself. All good.
Well, I mean, you kind of just said it, but I was just wondering, like, what do you think you're doing, or what did you change to get the client to the point where, they're willing to do that like initial, you know, HIPAA authorization database check before numbers. Like they have to be on board with you. You know what I mean? The value has to be this. Like, what do you think you changed to get to the point where it's like, all right, I can make this a part of my process without having it to be so reliant on the numbers.
Mhm. That's what you just said. They have to be sold on you first, because then they'll be sold on anything else. But if they're not sold on you, they're not going to be sold with anything else. So obviously, when I'm building the why and whatnot, but I'm telling them how this process works. It's not that oh, we could quote you, but we're going to do this first. It's no, this process works. And once a day, I have someone tell me, well, man, I'm just calling you for quotes. Cool. You should go call somebody else. You should look at an advertisement. You'll get your quotes there. I'm trying to help you get life insurance. So this is how this process works. And I lay out exactly what's going to happen. First, they're going to verify who you are. They're going to find out how healthy you are, not just for me. They don't just trust me. They don't think I'm the whole tell the truth. They're going to do their own background through your prescriptions, everything like that. Once they do that and they verify, okay, cool, we'll get you life insurance, John, then they spit out a rate for us. I'm running through a few different carriers here. So also, I wouldn't want to quote you with one company when there's so many out there that I could be choosing from. So what I'm doing is I'm getting you approved first because that's all that matters. And then from there, we're discussing numbers. So I did a better job to answer your question of laying it out up front. Before I would just go through my normal process like I was going to quote them and then just not quote them. So then they would be like,
Yeah.
so they're like, oh, wait, what do you mean? Like, and I'd be like, all right, perfect. So we're gonna go through this application now. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, where's my quote? I'm like, yeah, no, we're getting there. I just would do stupid shit like that. And of
Yeah.
course, no wonder they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. I'm not giving my social. I mean, and then instead, now, today days, I mean, the one I sold today, literally exactly set up like this. All right, perfect, John. Based on what you told me, we should have no problem getting you approved. You got your pen and paper, obviously, I'm giving credentials, all that stuff. And John, this is exactly how the process works. I tell them it. Once we get past that social part, I'm like, all right, perfect. Now, some carriers don't accept Chime and MetaBank as a form of payment. You don't use that, right? Okay, perfect. So how this works, once we agree to a rate, here the best rate here for you, the state. We're going to set this up with either some kind of checking or savings account. Nothing comes out today. Point is, I'm getting all that out there. So when I'm in the application, I'm like, all right, they just agreed to both those things. So if they try to give me an objection on it, it's like, hey, John, were you not fucking listening? 2 minutes ago, I told you exactly what we need from you. This is the only way to get your quote. And to get their quote, and that's a big thing too. If they want their fucking magical quote, they have to give it to me, or else I won't. I don't give in at all. Like, John or Trevor, I'll give you the social as soon as you give me a quote. Perfect. So what's the social? I must have misheard you, right? Because I can't give you your number until you give it to me. So it's little shit like that. Because once they feel like they have control of the call, they ain't buying a goddamn thing from
Right.
you. Yeah. Once they're the ones running you, you might as well just hang up the phone and save yourself the trouble because you're
The
not.
emasculation.
Oh, dude, they ain't buying from you. And that was the thing. I would just let clients, this is what I want. This is true story, Don. This is what I want. You're gonna give me my quote, you're gonna write my application, and you're gonna lose my number, but I need this insurance. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And I would ask them questions about address, like, don't ask me that, just skip it. And I'm like, well, I just need something. And I was just letting them just completely bitch me around. This was earlier in the days,
Yeah,
obviously.
I remember when you started, dude, you called me up. You were like, hey, I got this client and he wants this amount of insurance. And I was like, bro, he can't get that amount of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, but you knew he couldn't, but
Mm-hmm.
he was running the show. So you felt like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to go find it. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, he's 74.
No.
$1 million that no, you
Mm-hmm.
felt
That's
like now
very
today
good.
you hear that, you're like, what the hell? Why would I even entertain that?
Yeah, like cool, John. That's awesome. Here's a list of things I wish I had too, because you're not
Yep.
getting. You know what I mean? The best thing I did, and this is me being real because I don't have any other filter behind it. I remember this, and I swear on everything I love, I did this. A client was adamant. I want to. It was the same thing. It was like 500K. Dude was 76. I sent him a picture of a car and a female. It was a model. I go, I wish I had these two things too. You see those, right? Cool. I can't get those either, just like you can't get this. But this is better than nothing. Here's what's realistic for you. I didn't sell them, so maybe it wasn't the greatest picture of all time, but it's the point of we at least went through the process that got him to realize, okay, cool, this is what I can actually get. Because you don't want to, I mean, you don't want to bullshit with them. Just like, I want 500K. Okay, let me see what I can do for you. You know, run an Americo final expense app for 40K. Like, cool, you got into the app. As soon as you gave him numbers, he hit the fucking red button as fast as he could. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're honest and real with them completely up front, that's the thing, because you might as well do it up front because you're going to lose them anyway if you don't. So you might as well be completely real with them. I want a term. You're 83 years old. You're not even supposed to be alive statistically right now. You know what I mean? It's like little shit like that. They might kind of be like, fuck this guy a little bit, but they're going to respect you because no other agent does that.
100%. I'm looking for respect, not like.
Hmm.
I was always taught that. He goes, dude, I remember your dad told me, he said, dude, I bought a lot of stuff from people I didn't like, but I respected them.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
And they
It's
trust that you're doing the best thing for them. You might sound like an asshole while you're doing it. But at the end of the day, I might say whatever I'm saying to them, but they know I want what's best for them. They know I'm going to get them insurance and they know I'm going to take care of them. And I think I would like to think that they know I'm saying that because I'm trying to be completely transparent with them. And I tell them that too. Like, look, I'm not like, I don't want to mislead you and kind of tell you, okay, we can look for this. That's just so completely unrealistic that I don't want to offend you by pretending like that's something that's realistic. It's not. I wish you took care of this 50 years ago. Cool. I wish I did 100 other things 50 years ago as well. But here's where we're at, and we have to get you something. Because right now your wife has nothing. So even a dollar is better than zero. We got to get her something. And then you can get you just got to get their mindset right on track. And I said, you want to take care of that early on. You try to play fucking catch up if you're doing it after you give them numbers, and then you got to backtrack. And it's like, okay, well, I can maybe try. It's just, and you're already going to lose them anyway.
what's the percentage of people you call that have already talked to somebody or have insurance already?
70%. Talk to
Seven.
somebody, maybe 90 if they already talked to somebody.
Okay, so that's all right. So with that, what does that number mean to you when you're calling? How does that help us knowing 90% of people have talked to somebody else? How should we use that information and use it for our presentation?
Because most people haven't talked to somebody good, and not good as in you're a crazy good salesman and you got this crazy sales pitch, but most agents out there aren't completely real and they're usually just push it down your throat and move on to the next. And I love when they have coverage. And you also taught me that as well. I would always ask you, they have coverage, so are they all set? You'd be like, dude, that's the beginning of the phone call. And that's how I started looking at it. Like having coverage isn't the beginning or the end of the phone call, it's the fucking beginning. Cool, what do you have? Do you have enough? Do you need more? And really, you need this much? I mean, and no matter how much they have, I can tell them and find them a reason why they need more if they can afford it. You got 50K, cool. Average burial is 15 here. You got three beneficiaries, cool. Divide that by three. They really have about 5, 7,000 each. You want to leave them with about 5, 10,000 each. I can find any why for it, and it almost helps you kind of dictate the why. They have 5, 10,000. Cool. You're trying to get buried, right? Well, you only want to pay for half of it. Is that really all you're looking for? Or do you want to cover the whole thing? You know what I mean? It's little stuff like that. And when they other talk to other agents too, I'm like, well, clearly you didn't have a good experience because you don't have any coverage yet. So let me actually help you out. I'll be nothing like that guy. Here's how my process works. Well, he gave me a quote. Cool. Like I said, you didn't buy life insurance for him, so that he doesn't even he's irrelevant. And then I just move on. I don't like to leave dead space. I'm just continuing going on. I learned that from you, dude.
Do you guys see the acknowledging and moving on? Like he's dropping some gems, but it's very low key, and I hope you're picking them up. You know what I mean? But they are very just like oh yeah, I call them like by the way. Like you hear stuff, it's like, yeah, yeah, but anyways. Make sense? But anyways, I just keep it pushing. You know,
It's what you
that
acknowledge it and you move on. You don't even give it time. I wanted 1 million. Cool, awesome. That's not possible here, and I'm moving right on to the next point. You give dead space, they're just gonna keep talking. They're gonna convince themselves they don't need it. They're gonna convince their husband, wife, whatever it is. Acknowledge their stuff and move right on. And that's the key right there. I mean, I had a guy, I literally told him this was about a month ago. I told you I sold him. He was like, "Oh no, no, I'm not giving the social." After I did my whole process, I'm like, "John, stop. Yeah, obviously you want life insurance, you can give it. So go ahead with that social." "No, I'm not giving John, what's your social?" And then he gave it to me. And I'm not saying every client would do that, but it's like just move on to the point where it's like they know what your process is. He already said yes to it 5 minutes ago. So he's just in his own head, whatever it is. Help them get out of their own head. Just keep it moving.
a lot of times we think that we got to say something to razzle dazzle the clients. Hopefully through this and hearing, what Trevor's saying, you're like, wow, like that's really not, it's actually what I was thinking. And this is to the point that what he was talking about is at the beginning, he was trying to be somebody who he wasn't. A lot of us, when we're not having success, we're trying to be who we think insurance guy or girl is. And then you get pissed off and bothered, and then the real you comes out. The real you. Do you know what I
Sorry to
mean?
get that up.
Like just shooting it with people. And when you can do that, now people start to see you as a human, not a salesperson. They start to see you as an advisor, not a salesperson. I'm in sales, but I advise my clients. Make sense? How do you see yourself? I don't chase them. If they run, if they don't want it, hey, yo, we're gonna challenge them once, twice. You're gonna have it's gonna be taught. I don't know, maybe twice, but you got to give it all you have. The best feeling you can have when they hang up the phone or you don't close is I gave it all I got. Do you remember early on when you didn't close that feeling that you had?
Mm-hmm. It's gut wrenching, dude.
Tell us how it used to feel and how it feels now, the no closes.
The no closes, before the no closes would make me go take an hour and a half break. I'd rethink my whole life, whatnot. Now the no closes, like, okay, cool. I'm all right, on to the next lead. I could have taken an hour and 30 minutes, went through every single carry we have, pulled out of my ass, still no sale. All right, cool. Self-booked appointment this time. Cool. Fresh lead just came in. Oh, back to dialing. Not even thinking twice. And you gotta get used to that, obviously, especially when you're new on. Every single person that says hello, you think it's a sale, and you're nervous and you're shaking and whatnot because it's literally right there. Then you start to realize that I would just move on, right? Like it's on to the next one, on to the next one. And the people that can master that are the ones who get the sales. That's what you'd
Right.
always say, dude, move the fuck on. That's what you probably said that to me 500 times. But the guy, I mean, he wanted it, dude. Well, he didn't fucking buy it, Trevor. So move the fuck on. Like, and I just wouldn't let it go. It was like a fucking ex-girlfriend I could not let go. You know what I mean? Like, it was true.
It's so real. This might be the record of F's bombs dropped on a training, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. You may have broke the record. Okay. And
Put me
my
on you for another 30 minutes. Zoom will probably get fucking banned. So,
we're gonna have they're like, dude, you got to get off the line, bro. You're
yeah,
killing
it's all right.
it. All right. So any going and you're building a team, and I want to close with this. All right. A lot of folks go, I want to wait to build a team, all this type of stuff. Like, when did you start building a team? Why do you build a team? And what does your team look like right now?
So I obviously first month or so, first 2 months, I'll say I was just so focused on getting good at selling. But I was already immediately talking to my friends and stuff like, hey, dude, like, especially for baseball. I mean, you know how it is, dude. Like, guys kind of start wandering, whatnot. They don't know what to do after baseball. So they were easy targets. Like, hey, dude, like, what are you doing with your life? So I was already kind of planting the seeds early on. And then once I had the confidence, which you don't, that was the part I waited too long. I don't need to be a 50K a month guy to recruit my first person. You can immediately start recruiting people. You can immediately start going through because they have a whole company scale to show for why they should do this. It's not just, okay, I did 5K this week. All right, I need to do 10 so this guy gets interested. My recruiting pitch was, dude, look at these guys. I'm learning how to do what these guys are doing. Like, join with me and let's learn together. I'm already kind of on the way. And I didn't wait at all. Now I got about 20 people under me, like I would say consistent people under me every day. Last month did about, I have to look, but outside of me, I think we did about 50K or so outside of me.
Okay.
So obviously decent month trying to get them going. A lot of newer people who are trying to figure it out and stuff. Last week I had four first sales, so they're starting to figure it out. But there's
Go.
no better time to recruit than literally the second, because you start having that end come in and it's just good. I mean, you get people around you, you get to show people an opportunity. That's really what it is. If you're looking at them as, okay, cool, I'm going to make some money off them, they ain't going to work because they're going to sense it off you. But if you actually want to help them get into a better opportunity, that's what you do. You get rewarded for helping them. But if you take care of them the right way, you're probably going to lose more than you gain off the first couple of people. And that's what actually trying to help them. And that was the biggest thing for me because I never really wanted to build a team. I was trying to make a little bit of money. And it kind of saw what it was. I've seen my whole life. Obviously, I've seen the company, so I've seen what it can do. But there's no better time to recruit than right now. You don't have to be a 50K a month guy to go, okay, cool. Let me start telling people I'm good at this. I would just say, hey, dude, look at that guy. He's killing it, right? What about you? I'm working there, but look at that guy. I mean, I just fucking, that's how I got people in.
Right.
There's a whole company scale to do it. It doesn't have to be just me to believe in it.
That's a big piece, man. That's a big piece. Dude, I want to say thank you for hopping on. All right. This is I know you're fresh in this thing. All right, as in running your deal. I'm looking forward to the next 2, 3, 4 years in which you build. And then you can go back and watch this recording and go, holy crap. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? Like there's just,
Improvement.
there's so much growth to be had, and I'm excited to see it. And I'm excited for everybody else on here to start your track. If you feel like, you know what, this is, man, I quit this thing before, I'm getting back on it, dude, now's the time to get back on it. All right. It's Friday. We got the weekend right here. All right. He just said evenings are the best time to sell. I agree. Friday evenings. are a really good time to sell because a lot of 50% of the nation just got paid today.
100%.
50%. Why would I not work Friday night? Make sense? You got to remember some of this stuff because it's like steroids to your business if you play it right. Tomorrow morning, Sean said it today on the call, but dude, people drink on Fridays. They're hungover on Saturdays. They're home. Like it's a great time to get them on the phone. You just can't be the one hungover. That's the twist. Makes sense? We can't be like everybody else and succeed in this business. You know, like Trevor, were you big on like going out and doing stuff and things like that? Like, how's your personal life changed? What have you had to change in order to lock in?
I had to change completely, dude. I mean, it's easy Friday, Saturday. I mean, I'm 22 years old. You know what it's like to be 22, man. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like everyone around you and their brother, they get the same plans Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. You know what I mean? But I realized, obviously, spending money on leads, I'm not about to spend 1,400 bucks and lose 2 dial days. Because realistically, Friday, if you go out, you're leaving a little bit early, get excited, whatnot, you miss Saturday completely. And I love dialing on Sundays too, so I had to change my calendar completely. Um, just got to be an adult about it. It's really the biggest thing.
Big. This is big stuff, dude. So thank you for hopping on. Thank you everybody else for being on. If if you have any questions or anything that you heard today that you want to answer it offline or anything like that, reach out to us. All right. Weekends are the best time to sell. Best time. If you've never written $10,000 in a week, I bet you can do it over the weekend. Because the problem with that week is you probably didn't work the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can knock out of 90% of your production. And how I built my business was selling Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and building during the week.
I closed 4 last Saturday. I just want to throw it out there. It is possible.
That's it. Write 10K over the weekend and then build your business during the week. That was the motto. But now we got virtual sales to where it's like, shit, I can still build my business and sell during the week if I want to. But I want 90+% of my business handled over the weekend. Handled, Lacey. So that Tuesday, big deposits. Tuesday should be the biggest deposit day of your life every week. Early deposits allow you to make clear decisions for the rest of the work week. Late deposits have you frantic throughout the week. Weekends is what keeps your mental health in order. I promise you that. Your mental health is whacked because you don't work weekends. I know it. Unequivocally, you start doing that, your weeks start to just flow. Tuesday's big and you're rocking. All right? Do it. Come back to me and be like, Dom, that didn't work. I got you. Let's talk about it. Makes sense? But do it. 3 days in a row. And you'd be like, am I going to do that forever? Nah, do it until you get so far ahead that you can take that Sunday off. It's cool. Take the Sunday off. But right now, I got to get ahead. Got to get ahead. Like my man just said, I just changed my schedule up. If he's changing the schedule up at 25, 30 grand plus, 22 years old with 40 grand in the bank, what you doing? Make sense? This is good.
Yeah.
Let's rock, baby. All right. Thank you guys for hopping on. Let's have a big month. Finish the weekend strong. Finish this weekend strong, and let's finish the month even bigger.
Appreciate you, Dom.